What's up? It's Lauren and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about books with surprising plot twists. I went through my bookshelf and picked out all of the books that I thought had surprising plot twists, and now I'm going to discuss them with you. There is one book in here that I actually got rid of because I don't like it, and why keep a book in your arsenal if you don't like it? So there you go. So that's just going to be the one book. But I will tell you who it's by and what it's, what it is and everything. So, yeah. Alright, let's jump right in. The first book is Loving by Karen Kingsbury. I will let you know now that I not only talk about secular, but I do also talk about Christian books as well. So if you have an issue with that, please just skip over this one. But if you don't, that's fine too. You can choose to not skip over. I don't really, it doesn't matter. It's just a book. But anyway, so this is called Loving by Karen Kingsbury. It's in a series of 4. This is the last in the 4th. This is the 4th book in the series, and it's about Bailey Flanagan. She just graduated from Bloomington University in Indiana, and she moved to the big city, New York, to go and be on Broadway. And the books kind of follow her journey throughout that, showing us she has loves and heartbreak. And so there are 2 guys, Cody and Brandon, who she is torn between. She's torn between Brandon, the famous, gorgeous actor, new Christian guy, and she's torn between Cody, her high school sweetheart who broke her heart before she left. And so she doesn't know who she's going to choose. And at the end, I was kind of hoping that it was one guy, but it was actually the other one, and I actually was really, really happy that it was this guy. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to ruin any spoilers. I don't want to ruin anything for all of you. So, for those of you who do want to go pick this up. But this is a really, really good series. I love it. And it was one of those good, happy plot twists. Instead of, like, oh my gosh, and then you start crying in a puddle of tears kind of plot twist. Or like, oh my gosh, throw the book against the wall kind of plot twist. So this is a really happy, warm, I'm happy with how it ended. I loved it. It was one of my favorite endings. So, yay! Good plot twist in this one. It was really good though. I really enjoyed it. I actually really need to read these. Fun fact, that's actually Karen Kingsbury's daughter on the front page. And fun fact also, she actually just got married. So congratulations. I don't know what her name is. But yeah, so the next book is Ever After by Elizabeth Chandler. It is the 5th or 6th book in the Kissed by an Angel series. And this last one, I hate how the story ended. It just completely, like the series ended, it just completely sucked. I'm going to try and make this video as spoiler-free as possible. But yeah, I just hated how this ended. I didn't like it. My favorite character, something happened to them, and then the other character is upset, and and Ivy, it follows this girl, Ivy. She goes, and long story short, in the first book, she falls in love with this guy, and then he, something happens to him, and they just go through, and it's kind of like a paranormal romance dealing with angels, but, they go through a lot of, like, trials together, it's like back and forth, both of them go through a lot of trials, and finally, when they're able to be together in the book, and it's like, something happens, and it's like, I hated it, and I probably will not pick this book up again because it was so depressing, but the covers are actually really pretty, so, yeah, but I loved the whole series up until Ever After, and then I was just like, I wasted my money and I wasted my time on this series when it ended like that. So, I read this like years and years ago, but I am still very salty about it. Moving on. I'm also going to be talking about the book that's coming up next, which I'm still very salty about. I'm going to warn you now, you might want to pause it when I hold the book up. Because there will be spoilers in this. If you have not read the books or you have not watched the movies, pause it right now. Or not pause it. Mute it right now. And then unmute it when I put the book down. So, mute the book. Mute the video if you have not read this. But, because we're going to go into spoilers. But, those of you who have not read Allegiant, you know what to do. Mute it until I put the book down. But this is Allegiant by Veronica Roth. This is the third and last installment in the Divergent series. And I was very, very mad with how this ended. I was so upset and I was so crying. I went and put my book in the freezer. If you know where that's from, comment down below. But I was so mad. I put this book in the freezer. I could not, this literally, her death literally stuck with me for weeks. I could not read another book because of Veronica Roth and the pain she inflicted on me. I was so mad. I was so upset. And I still am. But I still think it's a really good story. I love the story of Tris and Tobias. I don't know. It's just one of those. It was my first dystopian read, and it was just one of those things. But the plot twist at the end of this, I did not see coming. I really wished it had been somebody else. But I did not see this plot twist coming. And so I was just very upset and very heartbroken at how this ended. Which is okay. But yeah. Probably will not pick this up again. Actually, no, I probably will. I like this. I love this series. Alright. Now you can put the book down. Alright, the next one I've got is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I loved the plot twist at the very end. It was so good. It made me decide on what house I wanted to be in. Throughout the whole book, I was reading and I was deciding. My best friend got me into it. She's like, you need to read the books before you watch the series. And I was like, all right, I can do that. So I picked it up and I was like, all right, what do I want to do? So I started reading through it. She's like, well, have you decided what house you're in? I was like, no, I have not. It was the ending of this book that made me decide to read it. Made me decide what house I wanted to be in. House Targaryen, by the way. I love House Targaryen. I am a Targaryen all the way. I've even came up with my own name. I came up with my own character. So yeah, huge House Targaryen fan. It was because of the ending of this that made me want it. I didn't see the end coming. I wouldn't say it's really a plot twist other than the fact that it's just really surprising and very suspenseful what happened, and epic and just total bad A-ness, just total awesomeness happens in this, at the end of this book. If you have not read this book, please read it. I know it's very long, and it's got about 1,000 pages in it, but it's completely worth it because the ending was so good. It was so good, y'all. I loved it. Yeah. So this totally, made me decide on what I wanted, to be, house-wise. So the plot twist in this was also a good one. It wasn't sappy like the first one, but it wasn't suspenseful or bad or anything like that. So yeah, I'm really excited about how this ended. We have a couple more books over here. So this next one is a classic. It's one of my absolute favorite of all times, which I can also make a video of that. So please let me know down in the comments if you want me to make a video of my all-time top 5 or top 10 favorite books of all time. Right now that list is actually pretty, it's fluctuating. But yeah, the plot twist at the end of this. When I first read it, I didn't see it coming, and I was upset. And yeah, but now that I've read it, because I read this yearly. This is one of my yearly reads that I love this book. Fitzgerald is one of my absolute favorite authors. He's probably number 1. This is one of my absolute favorite books, of all time. And I didn't see the end coming. And, by the way, I really hate someone in this, but yeah, I hate the way this book ends, but the writing and the imagery and everything else is just absolutely gorgeous, so please pick it up. And yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Those of you who have watched the movie, y'all probably know how it ends, which is okay. That's fine. But yeah, it's sad. And I didn't see it coming, but I wasn't like too upset about it. That's why I'm like blasé chill about it, because I wasn't too attached to the character. But still, I still didn't see that one coming. The next one we have. Are you ready for this one? Trigger warning. I will be mentioning various statements about, like, what happens in this book. And the things that happen in this book could cause problems. And so that is a trigger warning. There are mentions of child, like, sexual abuse and other things. I cannot remember at the moment. I have not read this book in a while. But so if there are any problems with that, just skip over this part. We have Identical by Ellen Hopkins. It's one of my one of my all-time favorite books. I love Ellen Hopkins because she talks about the very hard things to talk about that are like taboo in society almost, and she covers them in a teenage YA perspective. She also writes in prose, which is poetry. Poetry, it's just phenomenal how she writes. I love her. But this book follows two twins, Kaylee and Rayanne, and they basically, one is the exact opposite of the other, but there is a huge plot twist at the end that I didn't see coming, and holy cow, it blew my mind, and the cover is, like, really pretty, but let's not talk about that. It blew my mind about how crazy this book was, because I didn't see it coming. And I really want to spoil it for you, but I can't. Please, if you want to find out, this was so good. It was so good. Such a good book. And such a good plot twist. Holy cow, I didn't see it coming. It just totally, like, blew me out of the water. I texted my friend who recommended this book, and I was like, girl, you should have told me about this, because I didn't see it coming. And she's like, I told you. But yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite Ellen Hopkins books, like, ever, and I'm so glad that I got it. But I mean, like I said, again, there are mentions and parts in here where there is, like, sexual abuse, or child sexual abuse. So please, be aware of that and be cautious of that. If that's, an issue for you, please don't pick it up and read it. There are other books out there that are way better, that, are positive and that you should read. But I like Ellen Hopkins because I think that she talks about the things in society that really aren't talked about. And she's one of those authors that actually, like, has experienced these kinds of things with her teenagers as well. And she kind of writes from, like, a real perspective. So I really like this book in particular. But it was so good. The plot twist was dadgum amazing. It was crazy. And it was, like, right there at the end too. I didn't expect it. I was just like, reading along. And it's pretty easy to get through it. It took me about 2 days to get through this book. It usually takes me about 2 days to get through all of the books, but yeah, so good. This last book we're going to talk about is one of my favorites. It's become one of my favorites, and that is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This is the first mystery thriller book that I've ever read, and I absolutely loved it, and I didn't see all of the little plot twists in the end coming. It was just jam-packed, it was crazy, and it was just absolutely phenomenal. I loved it, and I need to get her other books now as well. But the plot twist in this was really good, because it was someone who I didn't think it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, holy cow! I was like, oh, what? I was like, what just happened? I was like, is that really who I thought that was? Yeah, it was good. It was good. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I will see y'all in the next video. Please, again, like I said, let me know down in the comments if y'all want to see a video highlighting my top 10 or top 5 favorite of all time books or series. Just like I said, let me know. Other than that, I will see y'all in my next video. I love y'all and bye.